All right, let's jump into this deep dive on DeepSeek.
Mm-hmm.
I am so intrigued by this company.
Yeah, definitely a fascinating one. They're really making waves.
You know, they're being called the AI Pinduoduo, and I think that comparison is spot on. You know how Pinduoduo just disrupted e-commerce with their whole cost-effective model?
Yeah.
It seems like DeepSeek is aiming to do the same thing in the AI world.
Right.
But they're not just about lower prices, right?
Absolutely not. That's what's so exciting about them. They're achieving some seriously impressive performance and efficiency with this totally different approach to building and training their models.
So let's dig into what makes them tick. First up, their technology, which honestly blew my mind when I was prepping for this.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking stuff.
I was particularly fascinated by this multi-head latent attention mechanism, MLA. They seem to be way ahead on this.
Right. It gives their AI a way deeper understanding of data than we've seen before. It's like, instead of relying on a single attention head, like a lot of traditional models do, DeepSeek's MLA uses multiple heads to analyze data from different angles, different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could think of it like reading a complex text, right?
Okay, I'm with you.
Like if you read something just once, you get a basic understanding. But if you get to discuss it with a bunch of different people, each with their own take on it, you get a much richer understanding. Right?
Oh, I see where you're going with this. More perspectives lead to a deeper understanding.
Exactly. MLA lets DeepSeek's AI kind of do the same thing with the data it processes. It's picking up on nuances and relationships that a single perspective analysis would totally miss.
Makes sense.
Oh.
So that's why it's particularly effective for those complex language tasks.
For sure. We're seeing DeepSeek really excel in things like language translation, where understanding context is key.
Yeah, and even in areas like sentiment analysis, right? Where you need to grasp the emotional tone of a text.
Absolutely. Their models are killing it in those areas.
It's not just about deep understanding, though.
Yeah.
It's also about incredible efficiency, right?
Yeah.
I was reading about their DeepSeekMoESparse structure, and man, it sounds like it's all about streamlining processing and cutting those computational costs.
You got it. It's a sparse model architecture, which basically means it's super picky about the data it processes.
The piggy.
Yeah. Instead of just crunching through every single data point, it zeroes in on what's most relevant. Think of it like a crazy, efficient search engine that just instantly grabs the most important results without scanning every page on the internet.
So they're getting similar or even better results with less heavy lifting.
Precisely. And that's huge GE, especially when you consider how expensive training AI models can be.
Well, and that efficiency is reflected in their insanely low development costs, right? Like their V3 model, just a measly $5.57 million to train.
Wild, right?
To put that in perspective,
Yeah.
I read that Meta's Llama 3.1 needed over 30 million GPU hours, and OpenAI's GPT 4.0 probably cost nearly $100 million to train.
Yeah, it's night and day. DeepSeek's doing something really different here.
It almost feels like they're democratizing large-scale AI development, making it accessible to players who couldn't even dream of competing before.
I think that's a great way to put it. And it's not just limited to the training phase either. Their V2 model, for example, has an inference cost of just 1 yuan per million tokens. That's peanuts.
Okay, yeah, now that's disruptive. I mean, think about deploying AI in the real world, where cost is everything. Suddenly you've got a company offering comparable performance at a fraction of the cost.
Exactly. It's a real game changer, and the big players are definitely taking notice.
No kidding. I bet they're feeling the heat. And it's not just about cost either. DeepSeek's also pushing the boundaries with stuff like their grouped query attention, GQA. This tech makes their models even faster and more efficient, particularly when dealing with massive data sets.
Right on. It streamlines the whole attention process. It's like, imagine you've got a team working on a project, and they constantly need to communicate and share information, right?
Sure, that makes sense.
If everyone's sending individual messages back and forth, it's a bottleneck. Things slow to a crawl. GQA is like organizing that communication into focused group discussions.
Oh, okay. So instead of a million little messages, it's more like targeted team huddles.
Yep. By grouping similar queries together, DeepSeek reduces the computational load and boosts processing speed. Especially important for tasks like natural language understanding or code generation, which involve tons of data.
So it's not just speed, it's about being smart with how they process that data.
Exactly, and it's paying off big time. We're seeing their GQA-powered models achieving some pretty mind-blowing speed-ups in those areas.
Now let's talk code generation, because DeepSeek's crushing it there too. From what I read, they absolutely dominated the Codeforce's benchmark, leaving those big international models in the dust.
Totally. They smoked the competition, scored 30 points higher than models from companies like, well, big names, OpenAI and Google, it's a testament to their approach that they can produce such high-quality code.
Yeah, that's a serious statement. You don't just accidentally beat those guys.
No, you don't. DeepSeek is playing in the big leagues now, and they're not backing down. It really shows how efficient their whole R&D process is.
Oh, for sure. I was floored when I saw their team size. Only 139 engineers and researchers.
Mm.
I mean, compare that to companies like OpenAI, which has over 1,200. How are they achieving so much with such a small team?
It's a few things, I think. They've got this really flat organizational structure, so decision-making is quick and they can iterate rapidly. There's no bureaucracy holding them back.
So it's about agility, being able to respond quickly, which is crucial in AI, right? Things move so fast.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, they're super strategic with their resources. It's not just throwing money at the problem. It's about smart engineering, finding those innovative solutions.
And speaking of smart solutions, their choice of hardware really caught my eye. They're not even using the most powerful, top-of-the-line GPUs for training.
Oh, they've been known to use lower-spec H800s, which are way cheaper than those cutting-edge GPUs that everyone else seems to be obsessed with.
It's so counterintuitive. You'd think you'd need the biggest, baddest hardware to train these massive AI models.
You would, right. But DeepSeek's proving that wrong. They're getting state-of-the-art results without breaking the bank.
So no compromises on performance, even with the less powerful GPUs?
None. In fact, they're consistently at the top of the leaderboards. It all comes down to optimization. They're squeezing every ounce of
It's like they're masters of efficiency, proving that you don't need unlimited resources to compete at the highest level.
It's all about ingenuity, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And this approach has huge implications for the future of AI, right? It means smaller companies, research institutions, even individuals could have a real shot at making an impact.
Absolutely. It levels the playing field.
Now, we can't talk about DeepSeek without mentioning their open source approach. It's another thing that sets them apart. They're putting their models and technical details out there for everyone on platforms like Hugging Face.
Yeah, and it's been a core part of their strategy. They're basically saying, hey, let's all work together. Let's push this field forward together.
It's a stark contrast to how a lot of other AI companies operate, especially in the West, where it's all very hush-hush. What's the response been like to DeepSeek's open source initiatives?
Overwhelmingly positive. The AI community is loving it. Researchers, developers, even just enthusiasts from all over the world are using their models to build new things, run experiments. It's amazing.
Are there any projects or research efforts that stand out? You know, things that wouldn't have been possible without DeepSeek's contributions?
Oh, tons. We're seeing their models being used in everything from natural language processing and computer vision to robotics and even drug discovery. It's mind-blowing.
It's like they're creating this ripple effect, spreading innovation across the entire AI landscape.
That's a great way to put it. But with all this openness, does it raise any concerns, about potential misuse or unintended consequences?
It's a valid question. Anytime you make powerful technology more accessible, there's always that risk.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But the AI community is very aware of this, and there's a lot of work being done to develop guidelines, best practices, and ethical frameworks for AI development and deployment.
So it's an ongoing process, figuring out the responsible way forward as the technology itself keeps advancing.
Exactly. We're all learning as we go.
Now, let's zoom in on the competition in China. DeepSeek's not alone in this race, right? How do they stack up against other Chinese AI startups like Baidu with their ErnieBot or Alibaba's Tongyi Qiwen?
Well, DeepSeek's got a few key advantages. First off, their cost effectiveness is just unbeatable. And it's not through subsidies or price cuts. It's all about the tech, the innovation.
So it's a sustainable advantage, not just a temporary play to grab market share.
Exactly. Second, their technical innovation is off the charts. They're not just tweaking things around the edges. They're coming up with fundamental breakthroughs in model architecture and training methodologies.
Like their MLA and DeepSeekMoESparse technologies, right?
Yeah.
Total game changers.
Absolutely. Third, they've got this laser focus on their core technology and engaging with developers. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. They're building a solid foundation for others to build upon.
So it's a long-term vision, building an ecosystem rather than chasing those quick wins.
Right. And that sets them apart from some of the other startups who are maybe more focused on immediate market share or user acquisition.
And finally, their open source approach, which we talked about earlier, is a huge differentiator in the Chinese AI landscape, where closed models are more the norm.
Yeah, it's a powerful statement. They're all about collaboration, transparency, and making sure everyone benefits from the progress being made. It's an approach that's resonating worldwide.
Okay, let's circle back to their technology for a minute. I want to dig a little deeper into the nuts and bolts of their innovations. We've talked about MLA and DeepSeekMoESparse, but I'm still a bit hazy on how they actually work in practice.
All right, let's break it down. Starting with multi-ed latent attention, MLA. Remember, it's all about analyzing data from multiple perspectives, catching those subtle things that traditional single-headed attention mechanisms miss.
Got it. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around the technical side. How does MLA actually work at the algorithm level?
It's a bit technical, but I'll give it a shot. Basically, MLA splits the model's attention into multiple heads, each focused on a different aspect of the input data. These heads process information independently, in parallel, and then their outputs are combined to create this richer, more complete picture of the data.
Okay, so it's like having a team of experts, each with their own specialty, analyzing a problem from all angles.
Perfect analogy. And that's what allows DeepSeek's models to excel in tasks that need a deep understanding of context, like natural language processing, machine translation, those types of things.
And it explains their crazy good performance in code generation, right? You need to understand the nuances of code to generate good code.
For sure. Being able to analyze code from different perspectives is crucial for that, and DeepSeek's MLA is a game changer.
All right, now let's tackle DeepSeekMoESparse.
Right.
We touched on sparse model architectures, but I'm still not 100% clear on how it all works. How does DeepSeekMoESparse achieve this selective processing of data?
Okay, so this one's a bit more technical. It uses a technique called mixture of experts, MOE.
MOE, okay, go on.
Think of it like this. You've got a super complex problem that needs expertise in lots of different areas. You wouldn't want just one generalist trying to solve it, right? You'd want a whole team of specialists, each with their own area of expertise. That's basically what MOE does.
So DeepSeek's model is like a team of AI agents, each trained on a specific type of data or task.
Bingo. And the sparse part comes in because the model doesn't activate all of these experts all the time. It only calls on the ones that are relevant to the specific task at hand.
Ah, okay. So it's like a dynamic routing system, sending the data to the most qualified experts and only using the processing power that's actually needed.
Exactly. And that's how DeepSeekMoESparse is so darn efficient. It's only processing what's essential, no wasted effort.
It's brilliant. They've created a model that can adjust its own structure and processing power depending on what it's doing.
Pretty much. And that adaptability is what lets them scale their models to handle those super complex tasks without needing a supercomputer.
DeepSeek is really pushing the limits here. It's exciting to see what they come up with next.
It is. And they're already making a huge impact, not just in the AI community, but beyond. They're shaking things up, democratizing access to AI, and inspiring a whole new generation of innovators.
It's such a great example of what can happen when you combine ingenuity, efficiency, and a collaborative spirit. They're showing the world that you don't have to be a Silicon Valley giant to make a real difference in AI. It's mind-blowing how much they've accomplished in such a short time. I mean, their first large language model, DeepSeek LLM, came out just last year, early 2024.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly they've moved from basically nowhere to a major player in the AI landscape all in a year.
And they haven't slowed down one bit. By the end of last year, they'd already launched DeepSeek V3. Each version just leaps ahead of the last ray. It's incredible.
They're really pushing the limits, and not just in one narrow area of AI either.
That's what I find so fascinating. They're excelling in so many different fields. Natural language processing, code generation, mathematical reasoning, even cryptography. It's like they're competing in the AI decathlon and winning every event.
Their code generation success is a real standout. To beat those international models by 30 points on the Codeforce's benchmark, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, it puts them right up there with OpenAI and Google. They're not messing around.
And don't forget about their performance in mathematical reasoning. They're scoring super high on standardized tests like the AI and the CNMO. It's impressive.
It really challenges the idea that all the groundbreaking AI has to come from Silicon Valley.
Totally. DeepSeek's story shows that innovation can come from anywhere. They're shaking things up, showing the established players that they can't just sit back and relax.
It's a wake-up call for the whole AI industry. The future of AI is global, it's collaborative, and it belongs to those who are willing to innovate and move fast.
And that brings us to a crucial question.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the big question we need to be asking ourselves?
Will DeepSeek's open, cost-effective approach end up accelerating AI progress for everyone? Or will concerns about security and misuse hold it back?
That's a big one. It's almost like we're at a crossroads. Do we embrace this new wave of open and accessible AI? Or do we tread carefully, worried about the potential downsides?
There's no easy answer. It's complicated. But DeepSeek has definitely sparked a debate that's not going to disappear anytime soon.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. It's not just about one company. It's about a real turning point in the evolution of AI.
And as we wrap up, I want to encourage everyone to keep learning, keep engaging with these big questions about the future of AI. It's an ongoing conversation.
This is really just the beginning. The AI world is changing so fast, and DeepSeek is proof that amazing things can come from unexpected places. They're challenging our assumptions and pushing the limits of what's possible.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and get ready to be surprised. The future's going to be wild.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into DeepSeek. Until next time, keep on diving deep.